So everyone, here we are live on Twitch. Hello to Matsuman, who is diving into the heat of battle together with me.
Yeah, let's go. Much love to all of you.
An event, let's see what it's about. God, Maz, take a look at this. I'll leave that to you. You're younger than me. Your brain is still young and capable.
Yes, we have 7 houses, each with 7 cats, and each cat kills 7 mice, and each mouse is said to have eaten 7 grains of barley. And now we can consider if each grain had also yielded 7 gallons of grain, what is the total sum of all the things listed? Wow, guys, do we have 16,807 or 19,607 here? Can we do the math or can't we? What are your guesses? I'm not going to calculate everything live here. I can't do that.
I'm completely lacking the motivation for that. Do you really think there are people who actually sit down with something and add it all up one by one? Several people in the chat are saying it's 19,607 matzah.
Those are really papyrus problems. If you're sure, then let's just answer the question. Who actually asked this question, Daniel? So who are we answering right now?
Actually, good thing. In case of doubt, it's always Sid.
Yeah, he just wants to know real quick if we can do math. I find that very interesting. Let's take 19.607.
0.607. Well, personally, I think Sid Meier has been in the business for a long time and is no longer that involved in the current Civ development. Personally, I just think he has a bit too much free time and found these tasks in his puzzle book and thought, I'll pass them on, I'll put them into the Civ hive mind.
I think that's a very nice idea.
Yeah, let me take the second one. Look, in both cases to be continued, always. Grow the city. And what are we doing? Yes. In Matsupizo, that's your city. You decide.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to be bold now. I'll say we'll take the mountain tile.
What a surprise. We'll take the natural wonder. And really, that's not even a natural wonder anymore, right?
Yeah, that's just a regular mountain then. I'll take it anyway.
So, and now a new check. By the way, next week on Thursday, next stream with Civ, and then I'm on my own. Matsuman unfortunately doesn't have time. I have to play alone. Really quick feedback from the chat on Twitch. I'm not asking for your opinion on YouTube because you're a few episodes behind and it's a bit hard to answer then. But on Twitch, here's the question. What kind of feelings does that leave you with? If I say next week Thursday 4 hours, WB with you without Matsuman as coach, what kind of feeling does that leave you with? An optimistic or a pessimistic one? Yeah, are you doing a happy dance or are you pulling your hair out? In the chat, a few comments that, yeah, well, I think it causes a certain feeling of restlessness for some viewers, as they say.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. You guys do it. Believe in WB. Coach our WB as best as you can. WB basically doesn't read the chat. We all know that. Do it anyway. If WB happens to read the chat at that moment, then you can say, hey WB, we just replaced Matse.
But when you write, I'll only get through this with a breakup mug. I'd love to read it aloud, but I never check the chat. What should we take, Matse?
Yeah, what should we take? So do we have anything cool left that we can unlock? Codex is a bit tricky with the positioning, although by now we can actually start thinking about it. We want to build an academy that gives us space, and we could also buy a library, so maybe for Codex after all. But we're also so close to the end of the era, so I'm torn. Should we say one more Codex isn't going to matter, or would it be better to buy a step pyramid?
Above all, we can't take the codexes with us into the next era. I think the step pyramid is a better way, but still, we still have to pick something.
Can't we just say we're not researching anymore, just choose research out of spite?
Hey, would you think it's possible that we could still make it into the future? No, that's not possible. We still have to get a lot done beforehand.
Yes, so I'm inclined to go towards ironworking because we know the crisis isn't over yet, unless we find something in military training, for example, where we can say that the current units could become even stronger.
Yeah, I would go with that too, just +3 combat strength because 17 turns is too long for me until that's done. Yeah, let's take a look in here. So now let's take care of the place up here first. It was empty just now, and now Literana is there. We'll move one forward. It's not built on, so we can move one forward. We can move one more forward here. We could have done it earlier here. No, movement points used up. Then we'll stay like this. Then we'll take care of things up front here. Bogenschütze. Archer, attack and weaken the archer, because he really has a bit of a problem against the chariot. The archer stays, moves one space, he could shoot over here. Wait, is that overgrown? Yeah, then he can't. Zoom out all the way again. I'm pretty bold by now. New units here again. And another round completed. Look, the barbarian settlement is also being threatened from the north by Egypt. Fortifications are being built. We can fire twice here. We have a commander up front. He can focus fire. Let's shoot with this one, and with this one the combat unit will attack here. Now he's almost dead, then we can finish him off. Let's move into the settlement and then we can also dissolve the settlement. Wonderful. And now we've dissolved 6 independent powers and received a dedication. Achieved a triumph. We get +4 combat strength against independent powers from now until... No, we can choose that at the beginning of the next era. That was only in the next one, right?
Yeah, if we choose that, we don't have to choose it. We can take up to 3 of these dedications with us. And then that applies for the entire era. So in case we have a lot of hostile city-states nearby again, then that might be a good choice.
And why would you have wanted to build a settler? Why?
I assume that we're making space now, for example, with the city-state Kutai or something. And that you could found a settlement there that could be attractive. But we need to take a look at that, because Mecca is right next to it. There's not much space left there either.
So we can definitely build one. In the chat, a viewer would have preferred if I hadn't used the smuggler leader for the attack with the 2 units, by focusing our fire. But instead, if I had just moved him up one space, so that if the settlement was conquered, if the settlement was dissolved by the warrior, we would have gotten more points. I don't know if that would have worked. Because up here there are 2 units of our colleague, the Egyptian, ready. And if we hadn't managed to take the place by concentrating our fire here, then they would have taken the place with their units. And who knows if they would have resolved it then, right?
Yes, so we got the 25 points. When dissolving units, you actually don't have to stand right next to it to get that. It's only when you are in close combat. That's what we did too, right? With the warrior, when we pulled out of his control zone into the city light during a close combat attack right next to the leader and killed him in the process. For that, we didn't get 2 or even 1 experience point. So we lost an experience point. It's not that dramatic.
Looking back, I think the option we chose was the safer one, and I would do it again because better safe than sorry. The alternative would have been to save once, try it out to see if it works, and reload. But of course we don't do that with the stream. Done. Then it's all good, Milligo. Did we want to build the academy? And let's see where to put it. Okay. Up here?
Yeah, I think next to the blacksmith is good. That's a military academy after all.
Yeah. Okay. Very nicely put. Did you just hear that electronic sound too?
Yeah, my better half obviously left their phone lying around here somewhere.
Alright, I thought that was in the game. All good.
No, it's my fault.
It's your fault, alright? So, and then we can, well, how do we do that? Fire from here once. Yeah, the ground gun is gone. Nice. We'll definitely do that. He barely survives. We can't follow up closely with the ground troops, not in such a short time. We can at least kill him with this. Oh, there's a ground trooper up ahead. If he attacks with this, he'll come right up here. Attack here once. Oh. Oh, because he's standing on the territory of Mecca. And that's why we can't attack. But it was different in Civ 6, right?
Yeah, I think it was different. I wouldn't bet my life on it, but I actually think if it's different now, I like it better this way. Because when you're being aggressive in someone else's territory, that's usually not looked upon favorably. So it doesn't matter whether it's against my own people or against others on my territory. I don't want that either.
Mm-hmm. Then right here in the front. Finish killing him. And take the leader away. That's not possible. Then they'll just keep fighting. Then we were brought here for nothing all over again. We can aim at it from here, exactly. Just take cover in the overgrown area. And we wanted to move north. Oh god, just before turn 90. Let's see if we can get a few more units up there. Place one up front since the rest have settled in well here. What I'd like to do, secure this field here as well, so that another village doesn't pop up here. At least on this one. Build a little further, put this one on top and fortify it or something. Or we hold out up there longer.
I'm not really sure if building it up will work. I'm really curious to see what happens, so...
Let's see, what do you think of North Bowman's idea to build another step pyramid? I'd love to ask you, but I never read the chat.
Yeah, that's the problem. But if you were to ask me, I'd say, I think it's a good investment. We can only build them in this era, and you can never have enough science.
Wasn't that possible before in Desert Ship? No, that was in Machu Picchu, wasn't it? Yeah, in Wüstenschiff there was no city wall, but the city walls would also become outdated quickly now. Yeah, a step pyramid with a happiness on top of it here. Yeah. Do you know why I'm unsure? Because we actually wanted to turn Machu Picchu into a city as soon as possible, maybe next time, man. And then, when a lot of building tiles pop up here, the chances that a modernization will last long in the first ring are pretty low.
Do we have any other settlements where we could still build a step pyramid?
I think we also wanted to turn Nasafusa into a city, right? That's also the first ring. What else do we have? Let's check Gram Kramzosa. Look at that, he's satisfied 3 times.
Much better. Let's take Kramsosa.
No brainer. In other words, we're just drawing without thinking. Chad would probably say, as always, 1 round further.
Eye tooth.
A free trader. A new map. Influence?
Yes, influence is always useful.
We can take influence with us into the new era. Culture, however, we cannot. Those would probably be the alternatives.
Yes.
So Matze. What now? But we're so slow. Look how little we've unlocked. Shame on WB, shame on Matze. Culture per turn. 41. The best opponents, 156. We are a bunch of uncultured people, Matze.
There's no other way to put it. Can we still get something nice with our Inca-specific focuses? I think that went a bit faster. What else do we have there?
Fractal cities. But what if we really buy warehouse buildings with gold?
So if not, yes, we will be in all our communities. And I also mean...
With what money, Matze? Well, do you have secret money vaults or cash reserves that I don't know about? Do you want to open a private statue?
Yeah, we actually don't need the resource capacity. The practical cities... But for construction, are we going to build something in the capital? Probably not either. We don't have any specialists at all. So I'm actually inclined to say we don't need the Inca founding father. Do we have anything else? What else is quick? We're not good at cultural research, but we've seen that the Egyptians are good at it. And as a little revenge for the war, we could try to steal some government secrets from them.
About legislation too? Evil thought, really evil. More food, please. Hey, didn't we do that already? Oh, we still have a card. Then of course we'll do culture. We have a merchant, and it's recommended to go to Damascus with him, Matze.
So now there's also a new trade overview in our resources screen where you can take a very close look at what trade routes there are and where you could send them. We obviously don't have any active trade routes, but with the available trade routes, you can sort them also by the number of goods by specific leaders. And there might even be more attractive cities than what the advisor just mentioned.
The question is, which resources do we actually want to have? And even though there are culture tooltips, I'm not that familiar with the game. I mean, I don't really want to check every single tooltip all the time, you know?
Yeah, when in doubt, it's about the quantity. So I'm either for Varsit or Dianet. And in this case, I'd probably want to go with Varsit because I see silver means more money, rubies mean more money, and incense means more science. I don't think that's a bad idea. Let's go to Varsit.
We can do that, no problem. But I'd also like to ask, where can we get to without... Well, where can we get to quickly? The era is almost over. And where do we end up? And without taking a big risk that barbarians intercept us or kill us or destroy everything. Varsit is over that way, it could work.
Yeah, and everything will be delivered to Mazupitsu. I like that even better because, of course, you have to pay some customs duties if you do business through our community, which I lead.
But we're so far away. Is it still the case that we have to send it up there, or has that changed?
Exactly. That's where he'll go now, but he'll manage it.
Up to here in 3 rounds and then further. Let's see what happened during the change of era. So you can conquer here. Conquer. Once. Now fire once. The Führer is much too far away. Fire again. That's not possible. Attacking won't do anything. We're taking a risk and moving up to here. Then at least we can fire next round. He already has. You could move one space next to it and attack from here. We can place this one here and fire again next round. We could attack, but I think it doesn't matter for the next round. Next round we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 archers firing, so we don't need to attack again this round. We don't need that one anymore either. It's no longer necessary. Then we can go ahead and fire from up here. Settler, let's send it somewhere for now. Where could we settle later on?
Probably where we're about to dissolve the city-state. Probably.
Let's head in that direction. Okay, everything's dissolved here. Hurry. Hurry! Zuckerban says our general is dead. No! He's alive right up here. Everything's fine. Unfortunately, I don't know what you mean. Fatal. Everything's fine. I would move him somewhere central. One rush, please. It's a pity that we only have one general, but we managed. After all, we only have one city until the end. I'd rather take the little money we have with us into the new era now, so we can quickly build a second city, Matze. What do you think about that? Yes.
Yeah, so money is scarce. It's a rare commodity for us. That's why we should save a little. And in the new era, everything will get better again.
Lofbaum suggests buying a commander. We could take more units with us, right? With a second commander? Or has that changed by now?
Well, at least I haven't received any more questions or hints like, attention, you can't take that many units into the next age. I mean that the limit has changed, but I can't say now whether it's a certain number of units or if it doesn't exist anymore. I've had too many different versions of this in the tests now. Normally, though, we should have received a warning by now. Usually about 20 turns before the age change. If we didn't have enough leaders to take all the units with us, we would have gotten a warning.
Let's save up the money a bit. Let's see how expensive it is to buy a commander and whether we can still react to a corresponding message if necessary. 1,200 might work towards the end of the era. How long would the construction take? 2 rounds. 4? Converted. Well, I don't think any of the options here in the building are really that cool. A wall here makes little sense. Bath, fishing pier, ancient harbour. Maybe we don't need an ancient harbour since we have so few fields. That's why you hardly need the fishing pier, and you get food from the communities, but I also don't think the bath is really necessary. We could build a second commander, but I'm not sure it's necessary. Schick es, ob uns das irgendwas bringt. Many...
I also think building an oracle is nice.
Because of the Joker attribute point?
Yes, and for all further Azalarian events, more culture. Culture is also in short supply for us.
Only 20 per era, but still, whoa.
That really adds up quite well. So,
Uh,
you shouldn't forget about these little things either, I think. And besides, it has style, Daniel, to just build wonders in the middle of a crisis and ignore the crisis.
we'll go through with the academy and then we'll see. Personally, to be honest, I'm not really convinced about it. We are being denounced, and I would like to reject that with 120 influence, because I don't feel like getting into another war with Hitachi Poo right before the end. You don't want that either, right?
No, please decline. We're not being denounced.
So now we want to shoot these guys to pieces. Once. Twice. Once. March in and break it up. Very nice. Now let's see if we can settle here and who could. And now we ask ourselves, does this do anything for us? A settlement here, a settlement there. Space-wise, it's barely enough. Mecca is annoyingly close. If anything, one of these three fields. This one, or this one. I think the rivers are cool. A lot of satisfaction. Resource-wise, it's okay. For example, jade. I never find jade incredibly clever. For example, wine. Yeah, it's not a killer resource either. For example, you don't really need stuff either. I think that's all the resources. Or am I missing something? No. A mountain just for our Inca. At least a lot of satisfaction. I would say that instead we should go explore it in the new era. And to build in the new world, if it exists.
I would still settle there, specifically on the easternmost of the 3 tiles. Because there we also have a second mountain. And you can get to the resources easily. I think we would be relatively well off there.
Oh, there, alright, yes.
A small one. It's a little mountain, let's put it that way. And that doesn't have to be the only one. I could also imagine if we continue to handle the crisis well, and if Herführer maybe has a second one, you can now also take settlers, traders, scouts, everything into the next stage. So we can set ourselves up and position ourselves there, so that we can also set out for a new world.
So as an alternative to settling here.
Yeah, I'm not sure about it as an alternative. I can even imagine it as something complementary. It won't be a huge settlement, but the settlement will help us, especially with the river tiles, at least the cities. We'll have 2 cities nearby there, first our capital, and then we wanted to turn Wetfeet into a city as well. To provide food. We have mountains nearby, they will give us a lot of food. So I can definitely imagine that, even though admittedly the space is tight.
I'll ask in the chat. Noch ein paar bones says if they don't settle again, Eben will settle there. Yeah, and then we'll build up a bit. Not necessarily, it's just that there aren't that many tiles, but they're pretty decent tiles. Medica would also like us to build there. Atterbrain also wants them to settle in a spot like that. Then we'll come and settle there. Well, to be honest, I'm only half convinced, but I'll follow you guys for now. Now we'll take the settler over here. I'll keep things a bit more centralized everywhere again. Now, this is Mr. Führer von Grane. That... And on to the next turn. Let's see what happens there.